Hello, and welcome to the FY20 Symposium Presenter webinar. Thank you for participating in this year's symposium by sharing your knowledge and expertise with the AmeriCorps State National Grantees. This webinar will cover the following topics and provide information and guidance on presenting virtually: the symposium virtual format, briefly touch base on discussion boards, presenter logistics and support, and Zoom training. Symposium format review. The workshops are broken up into two parts this year to accommodate accessibility for all attendees, both pre-recorded content and live discussions via the Zoom application. Pre-recorded and live discussion Zoom links will be included in the agenda that will enable participants to join. As part of our virtual format, we are also offering participants the opportunity to engage via online discussion boards. We ask that all presenters take the following actions before the symposium. Please download the ASN Symposium app, also the desktop version of the Zoom application. Please visit the ASN Symposium website, and please visit the online discussion board for your workshop. We are currently watching the presenter orientation, so you can already check that off your list. And also visit the Zoom website to participate in any Zoom tutorials that you need more information on. Discussion boards. Online discussion boards will allow participants to provide feedback, ask questions, or participate in written activity prior to the live streaming discussion, depending on presentation type. Links to each discussion board will be included in the agenda. The boards will open at 4 p.m. Eastern the day prior to the live discussion and will close at 12 p.m. Eastern the day of the presentation. After your discussion board is closed at 12 p.m. Eastern, your discussion board will be emailed to the main point of contact. That way you can incorporate questions and feedback into the discussion from the board. Presenter expectations. Again, please download and test all virtual systems, the Zoom application, and the ASN mobile app. Please review your discussion board for your presentation to incorporate information into the live discussion presentation. Please log into the live discussion Zoom at least 15 minutes before the start of the live discussion. Please remind participants to evaluate the session. Links will be included in the ASN Symposium agenda. And please, if you have not already communicated with your moderator, please respond to their email so that you may be able to discuss the format of your live discussion. Live discussion presenter support. Each live discussion will be assigned an AmeriCorps State and National Headquarters moderator. The moderator will be responsible for the following logistical support: introduction to assigned presenter before your symposium workshop, logging into the live discussion 15 minutes before presentation and ensuring the presenter is given co-host privileges. Due to licensing restrictions, only the moderator will be able to access meeting controls. Moderators will be responsible for starting the meeting, advancing any slides, managing the Zoom meeting to your specific presentation logistics, such as creating breakout rooms and any tech issues should they arise. The format should be discussed with the moderators when you are contacted via email and/or a short debrief call. Moderators will be in the background and not a part of the presentation. The presenter will be responsible for question and answer, facilitation, etc. Next, we will do a walkthrough of the ASN Symposium website, the agenda, and many other items.
Thanks, Rose. This is Brittany, the training manager for State and National. I'm going to walk you guys through what the event website looks like. If you are not registered, you might not have access to that, but that's okay. We have sent all of your links to you, so you will be able to access your live sessions that way. But for those of you who have registered, or if you're curious, this is what it's going to look like. So I clicked on the event website link, which you can find in multiple areas through the various emails that we've sent you over the last couple of weeks. When you first click on it, this notice will pop up. Unfortunately, we cannot get rid of it, so just go ahead and X out of that. You'll be taken to the home page. If you are not logged in, you do have access to some information, but in order to get all the information that you will need, you'll need to go and log in. So I'm going to click down here on this already registered button. That's going to pop open a prompt for me to enter my email address and my confirmation number. You should have received your confirmation number when you registered. If you do not have that, then definitely make sure to reach out to our contractor, and you can do that using the Contact Us button. So once you've logged in, you will see some additional tabs pop up here on your screen. As a CNCS staff member, you will be able to see all of the tabs. If you are not a CNCS staff member, you will see the tabs as they are uploaded throughout the symposium week. That is just to make sure that our attendees are following along on the content that is relevant for the day or the day before their sessions. So we kind of want to make sure and limit the information so we're not overloading people all at one time. So if you're registering or you're logging in and you only see Monday, that's totally normal. We will be covering when we are uploading these additional tabs shortly in this presentation. So again, here is our summary page, same information you saw before you logged in. On the agenda tab, you'll be able to see, we will have the agenda at a glance, which is accessible right now. We will also have the agenda book, which has a lot more of that detailed information. These are the materials that you would have received if you were in person at our event in our packet. So this is how you would access it this year on this virtual platform. For our presenters, I do like to flag the presentations tab. This is where all of your PowerPoints that you submitted to us that have been 508 compliant, they've been edited so that people can access them. This is where people can access your content. So if you've submitted a PowerPoint to us, participants will also have access to this so they can follow along prior to the session, the live discussion, and they can also use it as references later on. I'm going to go through the daily tabs just really quickly here. This follows along with your agenda at a glance, so if you have that downloaded already, which it should have been included in your logistics email, you can follow along that way. But I do want to highlight that each day we do have a pre-work section. We scheduled things intentionally during the symposium to allow for participants in all time zones to be able to participate in our live content. But we also recognize that 1 o'clock for us is a little bit earlier for the folks on the West Coast. So we wanted to make sure that we had materials accessible prior to our live session. So on Monday, obviously this is pre-symposium or pre-conference. So we've really focused this on our networking sessions. So this isn't quite relevant to you specifically, just our ORO teammates, as they will be facilitating a virtual networking session at 1 on the 14th. And then there's a couple other networking opportunities for attendees on that Monday. On Tuesday, we have a little bit more content for attendees. We have our pre-work, which includes a discussion board for the Tribal Advisory Group meeting. Obviously, this is targeted specifically to our tribal grantees. And then the rest of the day is kind of our kickoff. So we have our welcome remarks from Chester and Barbara. Then we dive into our OGA training. So they have a good chunk of time here on the first day to allow people to learn a little bit more about how to manage their grants and the financial aspects of those. This is what I referenced earlier and that Rose has already talked about, is that on the day before the next day, so we're on Tuesday right now. So on Tuesday afternoon at 4 p.m. East Coast time, we will make available the Tuesday tab to allow people to start to work on that pre-work. So again, for the West Coast people, that's going to be 1 o'clock their time. So they are able to then go through and work on a lot of the pre-work that afternoon, so Tuesday afternoon. Whereas for the East Coast people who it's 6 o'clock and we're ready for dinner, we can kind of take a break, log back in the next morning, and attendees can start to go through some of that pre-work between the 8 o'clock and 1 o'clock hour for East Coast time. So that's how we've kind of made it flexible for attendees to access the content that you've provided to us. So again, on Tuesday at 4 p.m., we'll make the Wednesday pre-work available, which means this tab up here is going to appear for attendees and registered users. And this is what you're probably mentioned for Wednesday, and this looks pretty similar to what Thursday also looks like. We obviously have some pre-work for our plenary sessions and our town hall. But then the workshop blocks, this is what attendees and you, if you're registered, are going to see. Attendees will be able to click on this workshop recording link, and we've got most of them are linked right now, but we're still working on finalizing some aspects of this website. But people will be able to click on a workshop recording link, which will take them to the presentation that you have already pre-recorded. I'm going to use Monique and Cindy's presentation as an example. So I would click on here as an attendee. And what that's going to do is that's going to open up a YouTube link. Slowly. As that's loading, I'll just keep explaining. So it's going to open up the YouTube link, which connects to the presentation that Cindy and Monique have already pre-recorded. And so attendees will basically click on that pre-recorded link. They will be able to participate in this presentation. So there's a little bit long, it's at 47 minutes. As attendees wrap up watching this recording, hopefully it'll pop up so you can kind of see what the format looks like. Here we go. So we have the title slide, and then you can see Monique here is already starting in on presenting their content. So this is the same format as all of the workshop recordings, so you can kind of get a sense of what that looks like from what you did with our AV team previously. I'm going to go back to the event website. And using this workshop as an example, again, that's what we just clicked on. The other thing that is listed as attendee pre-work for Wednesday is the discussion board. Click on that, have that open. Essentially, and I know Rose has explained this several times via your email communications with her, but it's basically an online Word document. So attendees can click on this link, and then they'll be directed to your online discussion board, where they will see everything that you have submitted and that we've uploaded. But basically, this is an editable document for attendees to engage with. So Cindy and Monique, they have put in their presenter titles, the training objectives, discussion board objectives, an overview of the materials that they covered in their pre-recorded presentation. So it kind of gives attendees a written version of the information presented. They also included this questions from the field box. So this is, you can see I've been in here already, but this is where attendees can then go up to the discussion board edit button. They're going to click that, and this will allow them to edit things in this document. Again, we wanted attendees to have the ability to engage offline or not during a live session only. So this allows them to have the flexibility either the day before, overnight, the morning of, to really look through the content and the resources that you've developed in order to engage with them separately without it always having to be a live session. So I'm waiting for it to load, and I'm scrolling down. Oh, I went too far. Here we go. So I can now delete this because I'm in edit mode. But what attendees basically can do is they can submit their question here. So I asked previously, tell me more about specific audit findings. And then I did include my name and program. Some people in their discussion boards have requested that people leave their name and more information, or they have another discussion prompt that they want people to engage with, and so they left additional information there. But again, you have control over this just in the same way that all of our attendees do. So if you want to make an edit, when they're live and they're ready to go, you can go in and make those edits and engage with people via this discussion board. So like right now I can say, I'm just going to delete that because that wasn't a great question that I wanted to include. And we've asked attendees to be respectful of this space, to make sure that they're not deleting content they're not supposed to. Obviously, we wouldn't want someone to come down here and delete the materials you have there. So it's not a perfect process, but it at least allows participants to engage if they are not able to attend those live sessions. Again, I have our friends out in Guam in mind when I've been developing some of this scheduling and material programs. So here are some additional content that Cindy and Monique have put together. So they've asked questions to the attendees, what actions? And so an attendee can come in here and leave their responses. I'm gonna jump back to the website. So obviously this is gonna look different based on each workshop presentation. You guys are all doing your own recording, your own topics, your own discussion boards. So it's going to look different for you all, but what's going to happen is attendees are going to create their schedule. They're going to know, okay, on Wednesday, I want to attend the best practices in evaluation reporting. They should come here the evening or the morning prior to that event. They will attend the workshop recording. They will engage with the discussion board if that's available. And then they should be prepared and ready to go to join your live discussion, which all of those links are housed here lower on the page once we start to get into some of the live content. So that's where the time is associated with it. So obviously Wednesday we kick off with our CNCS Leadership Plenary, and then we go right into our first workshop block live discussion. You will get additional information here, again, with working with your moderators, as Rose has already acknowledged. But for attendees, this is a view they're going to get, and this is how they will be joining your Zoom live discussion. So they would literally just click right here. That's going to pop open the Zoom window for them to be able to see your lovely faces and to engage in the live discussion that you have prepared for next week. In addition to the Zoom link, we also, this is what was referenced earlier as well, we have the workshop evaluation. It's just a quick survey monkey. It's the same evaluation we've used for the last couple of years. So if you have presented before with us, this will look familiar, but people can click on that workshop evaluation link, leave their feedback for you all. We do take these very seriously, and it helps us to build on our events every single year. Obviously this year is a little bit different, but we will be paying attention to that feedback. And we will let you know if anything is flagged that we want to make sure that you are aware of in the evaluations once they are submitted. I'm going to keep scrolling down this page so you can kind of see what it looks like. Here's the live sessions for workshop block 2. So again, we have our Zoom links, our workshop evaluations for those sessions. Then we close out Wednesday with a town hall with our National Direct and Tribal Grantees, a plenary focused on AmeriCorps response to COVID. And then again, this is Wednesday, but Wednesday at 4 p.m., the Thursday pre-work will become available, which means that folks can go all the way back up to the top of the page, and they can go ahead and click on that Thursday tab. This Thursday tab looks very similar. We just have a little bit of different pre-work based on our plenary and town hall content. But mostly it's your work that you've put into this symposium. So we have your workshop recordings, your discussion boards as far as pre-work. We kick off Thursday with a commission town hall, and then we dive right into workshop block 3. People will be able to join your sessions, leave their evaluations. They'll attend block 4. I know there's a quick turnaround here for those that are doing multiple presentations. So we know that, we're aware of it. If you're not logging on 15 minutes in advance, that's fine. We also have our moderators that will be going between sessions. So it might be closer to 10 minutes, but just make sure you're logging in early so that we make sure that, everyone's signed in before the session is supposed to start. Then on Thursday, we close out the entire symposium with our Excellence in AmeriCorps Award ceremony and closing plenary. We always invite everyone that we can to join us in celebrating the amazing work that our AmeriCorps members are engaging with across the country. So this is always a fun event. And we worked really hard this year to try and highlight awardees as best we could on our virtual platform. Because we are going right from the ceremony to closing, it's the same link. We didn't think it made any sense to have you sign out and then sign back into the closing plenary, so they will just transition into each other. Beyond that, that's our whole symposium week. Post-registration, that is where we will be posting all of the recordings from the session. So the workshop sessions will be recorded, minus a few exceptions. We will also be recording the plenaries as well. So attendees, if, again, for our folks in time zones, that makes it a little bit more tricky to attend the live discussions, they will be able to access the recording of your presentations at a later date. So they would go here to post registration, and that's where they will find those recordings. So hopefully that gives you all a clear indication as to what the event website looks like and how people are accessing your content and your links. Again, we will put our email up at the end, but if you have any questions, definitely feel free to reach out to us. But with that, I am gonna toss it back over to Rose, who will go through just a couple more slides and wrap this up. But I do wanna say thank you all so much for your work. I know it's been a little stressful to not get these details until a couple days before the symposium, but obviously with the quick turnaround and pivot to our virtual platform, there's been a lot of details to work out, so I really, really do appreciate your patience. With that, I will give it to Rose. Thank you.
Thanks, Brittany. Next are a few slides on the Zoom application. Again, please download a free Zoom account at the following website if you do not have one already. We are asking that presenters utilize the Zoom desktop application and not your phones or iPads. Zoom will be utilized for both pre-recorded and live discussions. And as you saw, links will be included in the symposium agenda. Please note that we are not including a comprehensive Zoom application training. Presenters are encouraged to visit the Zoom website for more in-depth tutorials as co-hosts. And here we've included a few Zoom resources that you can just click on in the PowerPoint. You can watch the Getting Started videos. These are very useful and also very brief and to the point. And you can also utilize the Zoom website to join a test meeting. If you have any questions, you can send any of those questions to the ASN training at cns.gov mailbox, and we will try to get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you guys so much for being involved in this year's symposium on our new virtual format. We greatly appreciate your time and work with our ASN grantees. Thank you so much, and we look forward to meeting with you virtually next week.